Oklahoma's finally getting some justice for a 16-year-old girl whose life was taken during a hit-and-run incident back in November of 2025. So here we are 6 months later. 3 suspects have been arrested. The first one's Timothy Thompson, Stephanie Thompson, and then I believe it's their cousin named Carl. I cannot find their photos online. So feel free to drop those photos below. They left her to die, guys. She was a 5-minute walk from her home when she was hit by a vehicle. Pieces of the vehicle were left behind. The 3 people that have been in custody, they're already kind of turning on each other as it speaks right now. So Timothy and Stephanie were driving in the vehicle together. Supposedly Carl was in the truck behind them. They hit her so hard that pieces of their truck fell off, yet they didn't stop to check out the scene. They just kept going, claiming that they thought they hit a deer. And the driver is saying that, oh, my wife and my cousin in the car behind us both said I hit a deer, so I didn't stop and check. Here's a picture of the truck, and you can see the damage it did. You don't stop to check when you hit something that hard, like to see if like your truck's okay, whatever you hit, they're claiming it was a deer, or they thought that it was a deer. That's the reason why they didn't stop, and that's how they're trying to get out of this. So you're telling me you didn't take it to a body shop, you didn't call your insurance or nothing for 6 months, because when they arrested them later, the truck was still damaged. They never got it fixed because they were afraid to go to a body shop. Let's face it, let's be real. They were terrified because of what they had to have been seeing on the news, right? They knew most likely that they were the ones that hit her, even if they didn't see her. I think they saw her. That's just my personal opinion. Sue me, whatever. 2 different people with 2 different perspectives didn't see what you hit. No. How they knew they were looking for a maroon Chevy 1500 was pieces of the truck were actually left behind. That's how much fell off, okay? No. Okay, you would have stopped. You would have looked around and saw what you hit. And here's the thing. When poor little girl, Eden Ferrell, was run over, she was actually walking with her best friend and sister-in-law, okay? And the sister-in-law was actually partly injured too. She had minor injuries, but she was screaming. She was, telling somebody to stop. And so they thought they saw a deer. They hit something monstrous. It didn't even slow down, described by the sister-in-law. Didn't make any attempt to stop. And the sister-in-law screaming and hollering, but the people driving don't hear her, don't see her. Well, I mean, to me, my opinion is, even if they didn't know what they did, they didn't want to stop and call any kind of insurance, because that's what you do when you hit a deer. Like, if you guys didn't know that, when you hit a deer and it makes major damage like that, you have to call in to make an insurance claim right there. You got to pull over. I mean, this car was like damn near labeled totaled if you look at it. I mean, that's a lot of damage. I used to work for a Chevy dealership. That has to be thousands of dollars worth of damage right there. The headlight component alone is about $1,500. So you're stopping. You're stopping. You're not going to keep going. The only thing I can think of is there was some kind of nefarious reason why they didn't stop, whether they were under the influence of drugs or alcohol or what have you. Okay. Now, for the guy driving behind them, I mean, like I said, he's been arrested too, and I don't know why he doesn't get charged just as much. But if he saw it and he also didn't stop, what was his reasons for not stopping? And I've had this wrong. The guy that was supposedly driving behind him, his name was Ferrell, and this is how you know that somebody's lying in this story. So one of the 3 of them is lying, if not all of them, because Timothy is saying that he was under the impression that his brother-in-law in the vehicle behind him stopped to pick up the deer. That is what they have said. This is not my opinions. This is not me just naysaying. This is what they have said to like authorities. Timothy, the guy that was driving the truck that hit Eden, has said, well, I was told that Carl, I don't know how you say this guy's name, pulled over to pick up the deer. So he's trying to throw them under the bus. They're trying to throw him under the bus. Saying this, this wasn't me. I didn't do anything nefarious. So obviously no one stopped to even check on the deer, or they would have seen the girl who survived, screaming and needing help. No one stopped, period. So here's the official charges right here for everybody. So obviously Timothy is getting the brunt of the charges, while Stephanie and Ferrell are essentially just getting like tampering with an official proceeding. And I don't know if that's coming because they're like lying about the situation or they tried to cover it up for the situation. Don't know. So the who's, the how's, the why's, that's what we're going to find out in court. But what we do know is the pieces of the vehicle left behind at the scene, the FBI have fracture matched those to that truck. So that truck is the truck in question. There's no weird coincidence, because that's what they're trying to say right now, is that they think that it was just a coincidence, and because they've all pleaded not guilty. So they're saying that they hit a deer and it's just a coincidence they have a Chevy 1500 that's maroon. But the FBI, like I said, they have fracture matched it to that truck. So he was arrested on April 17th. The truck was impounded and seized 4 days later after they were able to match it.